Okay, so I moved where I was sitting, so now I get to be all shaky again. My glasses are always messed up because my ex decided he would take off one of the things, and were my newest glasses, so they're only like 2 years old. Yeah, Richard really tried, right? I mean, he really tried to destroy me. Sorry you failed. Um, what I wanted to talk about, because I just saw this candle wax molding thing. Fun fact, I used to work for here's another name. I used to work for, what was it called? Rainbird or Rain Spring or something. It was a sprinkler system company. So we handled the moldings of the sprinklers. And I met this girl from Ghana, and she was 18. I was 20, I don't know, 23. And she was from Ghana, and this is before I lived in Riverside, so I was still more in LA County, in between Pomona, Rowland Heights. I worked at the school system there in elementary school. Irwindale, Covina. One time I had a KJ job in El Monte area. But yeah, so I don't remember that girl's name, but she was 18 and she was from Ghana. She's like, I miss my home. I'm from Ghana. I was like, okay, well, whatever. And she and I were cool. And she was like, hey, you should come to reggae night on Mondays at Club Sevilla in Riverside. So I was like, man, Riverside's kind of far, but whatever. I'll go, So I think I drove. That always seems to be the case. I always end up driving. So I think I drove. And she was cool, and we got there, and it was literally, I felt like I was a bird crap on a black limousine. And everybody for reggae night on Monday was dark as night. My absolute brothers and sisters. And I didn't have a problem with that. But it was literally them and me. And we were waiting in line. It was a really long line. And we found some of her friends. So she was like, oh, here are my friends, come with me. So we go there, and then she just turns on me and goes, hey, white girl, hey, white girl. I'm like, you don't want to tell white people I'm white, because that's not right according to them. But she kept calling me white girl, and I looked at her like, first of all, who are you now? Because 30 minutes ago you were all nice and cool, and we've been cool for a good month since we worked together, and now all of a sudden you want to try to make me feel bad and call me white, make me feel segregated. But it was the craziest thing, because it was me and there was one other guy, and he was a good dancer. And I remember looking at him and I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna waste my time, because he knew he looked good, and he was like me. He was the only one in the crowd that was, I can't remember, I think he might have been Hispanic. He could have been mixed, but I think he was Hispanic. He was a cutie. Long hair, good dancer, nice clothes. I was like, I'm just going to look at him from a distance. And then I remember some girls got in a fight or anything. Anyway, that was not what I wanted to talk about. Oh, going back to the candles, cakes. So yeah, I'll talk about cakes, and then I'll go to Christmas. So cakes. I remember my older sister, Jessica. This cake, I will always remember this cake. I don't know why, but this is the only real birthday I remember. I think I was 10. And my mother had made a cake, and my older sister decorated it. And she decorated it with 10 candles. And we were in Barstow by this time. And with M&Ms. But she and my mom said, design it however you want, Jessica. And Jess was so talented, man. And she, separated the M&Ms by color. And she literally made this beautiful, very, I wish I could describe it. It was like a rainbow all around the cake, on the sides. Everything was in this beautiful, strategic, organized, very symmetrically separate M&M by M&M. Just spent a good hour on that, just putting those M&Ms together, like maybe hour and a half. And I remember she did that for me. And I remember we have some VHS videos of it, and it was just, I don't know why, but I just remember that. And I made a cake one time for Russia. And I think I mentioned it before, like I was trying to find, I was broke at the time, and I was trying to find good moldings, you know, like chocolate moldings. I was all into chocolate moldings and stuff. I had one for, I had a couple for Christmas and stuff, but I ended up never really using them. But for, you know, I was just in like, I liked cake, like baking. I liked baking stuff. I baked this cupcake cake for my friend, oh my freaking goodness, David, who's gay. We had a bad falling out, and it was just because of all the stalking. I was lost, and I put him on the back burner, and he knew it. I'm sorry, David. I really missed you, but I know you're a part of this too. Anyway, but I made him like a cupcake. It was 2 pieces. You had to put it together, and then on the inside I cut slits on the inside so I could put sprinkles in it. So then when you cut the cake, sprinkles would come out. It was really sick. Yeah, but I never was able to give it to him, so I ended up bringing it to the hookah lounge and just giving it out. That's how nice I was. But everybody at the hookah lounge, Joe, what was her name? Katie, total, you know, slut. She gave my boyfriend at the time, Dylan, chlamydia. And then by the end of our relationship, I got it again because he was cheating on me with her again. Well, at the beginning, you know, I don't think he knew. And there were like 3 Dylans there. It was ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, so Dylan, Eddie, Ramon, that Asian guy, Cho. Screw him. He always wanted to act like he knew crap. He was an idiot. And he was stalked me all the way here to Arizona. I know. I saw his ass. Yeah, he was trash. He was nothing. He just wanted to boast a lot, but he was trash. But Joe, I hung out with Joe, Dylan, and Dylan often. Eddie was trash. Ramon was a sweetheart. Too soft. Had no respect for himself. Enoch, he ended up going to Texas. So did Damara. She used to be former military. Who knows how much she participated in this? I don't know. But Damara as well. I even blamed her the last time that I was able to talk to her on the phone. I said, you're the reason why I'm getting harassed right now. Because the whole thing with Russell, I thought she was the reason, but obviously it was much deeper than that. Anyway, going back to cakes, I made this beautiful cake for Russia, and I could not find the alphabet. I was trying to find cheap moldings, and I think they were all really expensive, and then I was like, I don't know why, but I just couldn't find, for some reason I couldn't find it, and I think I only had money for one because the moldings where I was at were really good, but it was expensive. So I just got one molding, and I was like, I got one that was for a rose, and that one was difficult because the little stem always broke off if you weren't careful enough with it. But the rose part stayed, so sometimes I was like, screw it, I'll just make it for the rose part, and then I'll just do the rose. But Russia loved his car, and he loved Mustangs. So I made a chocolate horse. I couldn't find a car one either, so I made a horse because horses are Mustangs too. And I think I made like 4 of them. So I had 3 on the sides of the cake, and then I had 1 on top. Another thing, Christmas was always such a beautiful time for the family. I know for Xavier, for his first birthday, whether he remembers it or not, whether my brother still has it or not, I bought this beautiful blue and white Christmas tree, like a baby Christmas tree for him, with like little blue and white ornaments and everything. I loved that boy so much. I still love him. I love all my nephews. Even Sophian. You guys are just, your souls are so lost. Not all of you, but But your guardians, they're lost. They're taken. Anyway. But in Christmas, my Oma, my mother, and my aunt, Tina, not Aunt Angie. Well, Aunt Angie came and went, and my mother was very good at holding her tongue. Like I said, she had amazing patience. I'm not like my mom. But the adults, the women, would always be in the kitchen. And I think my father, Soran, Uncle Kurt, who was the neighbor next door, and Opa. I don't ever really remember Amir. I never met Amir. I don't recall meeting Amir. But Alexi actually would stay out with us too, which made sense. She was still kind of a child. Like when I was 9, no, she wasn't a child anymore. She was already like 24. She's 15 years older than me, 9 years older than my older sister. So yeah, when I was 9, she was 24. So she was in the kitchen with my mom too. My mom didn't trust her. Alexi used to pinch me all the time. I guess she didn't know if I was real or not. She would pinch me and make me cry. My mom was not about it. And she was always jealous of me. She loved Justin, go figure, sociopath to a sociopath, but she just hated me. She did it to my older sister too. Interesting. She didn't get the opportunity to do it to Jolie. By 15, my mom already kicked her back to Germany because she was too difficult. She kept running away from home and everything. Anyway, so Christmas was always our time. And, you know, the women would be in the kitchen. Oma would cook like a maniac. My mom would do all the baking. You know, it was, they worked around each other doing everything. But my mother, she loved to make the rum balls. And my dad and Opa would get drunk off of them. I remember one Christmas, Aunt Angie out of nowhere came in. So we would all be in the living room. You know, all the men would watch the kids playing in the living room, and all the women would be in the kitchen cooking. And I remember one, that's weird. These poor glasses are such a pain. Anyway, I remember one Christmas, Aunt Angie, the oldest aunt, she came in and just started going after my dad. And maybe it was something my mom said, because my mother really was pretty passive aggressive. You know, she knew she couldn't fight, so her family was her outlet. But I remember Aunt Angie came in and she just, you N-word, this, and she was speaking in German, but ooh, she was, what do you call it, mother-in-law tongue. Ooh, she was with my dad. And we all of us just, like, you could just feel it in the air. It was almost like she was making a spell over him or something. It was pretty crazy. And then my dad just sat there, but you could feel the hate and the animosity. And and my Opa got up. And my Opa was very abusive to my mother. I don't believe he was that abusive to his oldest daughter, which was my oldest aunt. But I remember he got up and he was like, get out of here now. Like, he got physical with her and pushed her out of the living room. And, you know, I think my Oma and my mother came back in to check on us real quick and then handled her. I don't know what the hell happened. I think while she was cussing, my mother came in or something and started yelling at her to stop. And then my grandfather got up and physically got her out of the room. And once he got physical, I think she knew better. You know, he pushed her out. Like, yeah, that was one of the Christmases. But we always had the rum balls. And my Opa and my dad and Soran, they would get all buzzed on rum balls. And I wish I knew how to make them the way my mom made them. I've made several different types, with wafers, without wafers, so that it holds the alcoholic content, stuff like that. But that was one of the perks, you know. And the kids, we ate anything, but when we got older, we could tell them if we liked it or not. So my Oma, she would always hand me a little bit of chocolate and be like, oh, do you like this? Yeah, I know I was her favorite. She always gravitated toward me. So anyway, I just wanted to share. This was a very miscellaneous one, but I've talked too much already. It's already 15 minutes. Yeah, so I hope everybody has a good night, and till the next time, adieu.